What's going on, everybody? You've got the cardboard coach here with your boy, Coach Co. And team, today on the podcast, we've got a very special guest. We've got Caitlin Gassessa from Stand Up Displays. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I should also shout out the Instagram handle. That is SPORTSCARDCOUPLE.
Yes, yeah, it's
Boom.
my husband and I. I kind of run the account because he's not much of a social media guy, but yes, it is us. We go to shows together, and that's why we kind of branded it in that direction, which is really cool. So,
I love that. And I want to dive into that. First, I think we're going to connect the dots and figure out how we met. We linked up at the Toronto Sports Card Expo. You came from Pennsylvania all the way to Toronto.
yes,
I love
yes.
that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that experience? That was your first time at the expo?
Yeah, so I had ended up at the office for my annual meeting, and my boss was going to go, and he had other obligations he needed to take care of. And I was like, well, I'm here. Send me to Toronto. I got my passport. I've never been. I've always wanted to go to Canada and experience because I've heard only wonderful things about the sports expos. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go network, meet some people. And I was like, honey, I'm taking the car. And he was like, okay, have fun. So, and it took 8 hours to get there. And it was so much fun. The community there is very welcoming and so warm, similar to just any community in the United States that I've been to all the shows in the US. And it was just so much fun. Got the chance to pick up some cards that I've been looking for, but also got to network and we connected, which was really fun. So I wasn't actually planning to stay that late. I was planning to do drive there and drive back the next day. And my boss Dan and my husband were like, "Don't do that. Just stay the extra day. You're networking. You're getting connected with people." So, and I'm glad I did because I met two people, which is you and another friend of ours, and it was just good to get in contact with people. And it was a great time. I had so much fun.
I'm glad. Did you do the Friday, Saturday or Saturday, Sunday?
I did the Friday, Saturday because I ended
Nice.
up kind of sleeping in a little bit on Sunday and then taking the nice drive back, which took a little bit longer, but I got to detour through the Niagara Falls and it was really cool because I've been on the US side, but I've never been on the Canadian side. So it was really cool to experience that.
The
So,
Canadian side is super touristy.
oh, yes, very touristy. I only stood for like 5 minutes and I felt overwhelmed by everybody that was walking around. So,
It sure is. What's that drive like? It's like 8.5, 9 hours, isn't it?
yeah, it was about 8.5 to 9 hours. We have an electric vehicle, so it took about that long to stop
Yeah.
and charge. But again, at those points, we're going to the bathroom, we're getting food, need to stretch your legs kind of thing. So it was really nice. It was very scenic-y and like going through Pennsylvania in that area where it's kind of like the middle of Pennsylvania, the areas where you got all the mountains, and same thing with New York, the mountains. And there were a lot of like the wind turbines. And it was really cool to just kind of see it in a different light, especially at the beginning of what is spring summer season. So like the
Yeah.
trees are starting to bloom and it's just really beautiful. And it was a lot of fun. And I would definitely do it again for sure.
I love that. Talk to me about the collecting experience, even in Toronto. So you said you picked up some stuff that you were looking for. What type of stuff do you collect?
Yeah, so we primarily, as you probably have seen from our Instagram, sports card couple. So we collect mostly baseball, but in our household, we are hockey all the time. It's so weird because like we watch a lot of hockey. We do now. We watch a lot of baseball, but we are huge hockey fans. We're Philadelphia sports fans, so we live out an hour and a half outside of Philly, but we are diehard Philly sports fans, as you could see from my background. If you're watching on video, a lot of Philly stuff all over my Zoom calls because we are just such dedicated fans. But I got the chance to pick up a card. I've been looking for a Owen Tippett autograph, and he's very popular in Canada because of his roots. But
Yeah,
I got the chance to pick up an autograph of his, which was really cool. So I brought it to kind of show off,
I
which
love
is
that.
really awesome.
And so for people
So
who are
yeah,
listening audibly, that's a PSA 10 Future Watch auto. Congratulations.
Yes. So my goal was to come home with one card because when I'm at shows, I'm always networking, talking with people. But again, of course, you have to pick something up to
Of course.
commemorate the time and the experience. And I've been looking for his autograph, and I saw one in Philly, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want that particular one. I might want something graded. And then when I came across it, I was like, yes, this is what I want. Like I'm taking it, and we got it at a really good deal, and it's really cool because it has his number on it from his rookie year too. So if you're looking, he autographed it with the number as well, which is really cool. So, and he's going to be in Philly for a long time since he signed a 8-year extension, I believe it
Yeah.
was. So it's very exciting as a Flyers fan to have somebody who has a lot of talent coming through the organization since they're kind of doing like a little bit of a rebuild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really cool in Toronto to be able to pick that up.
That's awesome. It's funny. I've talked about it on previous podcasts, especially more lately. I think we talk so much about, is this a good deal for a card, or, like buying in the off season and selling during the season, or like
Hmm.
timing purchases. But I don't think buying to commemorate gets talked about enough. And that's like
Hmm.
another massive part of collecting. Like, I'm not saying that you forego budgets if you're buying to commemorate like an experience, but so much of collecting is about experiences. And when we talk about like origin stories like from different people, a lot of them have to do with like family roots or get-togethers with friends, or something that really sticks out. And I think that it's awesome that the more people I speak to, the more these like commemorative buys take place.
Yeah, we do a lot of that in our like household because of our relationship and we collect together. So, if many of you don't know our story, I write for Hobby Daily News as well. So, I did a story on our experience. How did our relationship start? How did we get into collecting? And just kind of a quick synopsis. We were dating, and then a friend of ours is like, "Hey, have you ever collected sports cards?" And we were like, "No." We're like, "What are sports cards?" Because I knew Pokemon cards growing up and all that stuff, but it was just really neat to have different cards that have certain memories. So we have our Phillies cards that we haven't collect, but we have a lot of cards that we've collected that like have attachments to. So I could show off the one
Hell
is here.
yeah.
It's our if you're looking at it, it's the tops now of Bryce Harper hitting the home run in the NLCS when we went to the World Series. We were at this game. So like again a memory attached to a card, and I've been looking because they went so fast, and it's like you find these cards that have specific meaning and specific memory to them. Like another one we actually just picked up like a week ago is this Bryson Stott. It's a color match and it's an autograph of his rookie card, but this was our first national we were ever at. So that was 2022, and we wanted it because we were like, he's our favorite player, he's on our favorite team, and it's from the national. It's one of the national special cards that Topps does. So
Yeah.
again, having those memories attached to them have a lot of meaning to us, especially for myself. I think we really enjoy that a lot.
I want everyone to know that we did not even plan to have this discussion, and it just segued so perfectly. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah,
I
I
had no
know.
idea that the stuff you were going to show off had to do with like commemorative buys. That's really cool.
Yeah, I have a couple of them, but like I could talk about all the other stuff that I collect. But yeah, I know a few of them. I was like, you know what, I got to show these off because like these are things that have a lot of meaning to me, have a lot of meaning to our relationship, and we try and collect a lot of those things because of our roots here and what we enjoy and what we love. So,
I went to my first Phillies game last weekend, and let me tell you something. It is definitely not the last time I'm going to be at a Phillies game.
yes, if anyone has never been to Citizens Bank Park and you get the chance to go, it is a beautiful facility. Like we've been to Washington. We're going to be going to the one in Cleveland at the National. We're going to go to see a Guardians game, and it's just I personally, as a fan, I know I'm a homie, but I guess nothing compares to it being your home ballpark. But it's beautiful. There's always a great place to sit, no matter where you are. And we try and sit in different sections every time we go to because we want to get the experience in a different way. And like the last time we sat all the way in left field, like in the very corner where the State Farm sign is. If you're a Phillies fan, you'll know what we're talking about. And it was cool because that's sometimes where the in the ballpark home runs are hit. And
Yeah.
it's such a fun ballpark and we have a lot of memories, but I have to say we will never ever experience a Phillies game Like when your team clinches their spot to the World Series, it is unlike anything else you will ever experience. If you ever get to do it and your team goes to the NLCS, the NLDS, or the World Series, you have to do it at least once in your lifetime.
I love that. It was pouring rain and everybody was just everyone was loud and everyone was in their seats.
Hmm.
Like I couldn't believe it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
this is a dedicated bunch." And
Yes.
to end it the way that they did, like they tied it in the bottom of the ninth and then ended up walking it off. And I was like, I couldn't have asked for a better way to
And
experience
you're
my
watching a
first
team
game.
that's super special right now. Like we as fans can see it. I think the media and on all of the people, baseball people can see it that this team is really special and what they're doing. It reminds me of when we won the World Series in 2008, but a little bit different because they're kind of more close knit. And I think it's really special. And I think it'll be something that we talk about years and years down the road as Phillies fans and as a city, what we've experienced. And it'll be cool to look back on. But I think we're in the middle of history being made for a lot of teams, not just ours, but a lot of teams. So,
I like that. I like that confidence.
yeah, confidence in this
Yeah,
household. So,
I love it. I mean, true fandom. Talk to me
yeah.
about stand-up displays. How did that start? Talk to me about the direction stand-up displays is heading in.
Yeah, it's really crazy because my boss Dan started the company around 6 years ago, and he just wanted to create something unique. And it started with 3D printing, and the 3D printing stands are still out there in the wild. And then now we do the direct print stands, which are more of the, if you could see in the video, you can get whatever design or style you want on them. Our goal is to have something one for hobby businesses to brand themselves and to be able to relate it around a hobby related product. But second, for people to just showcase their collection because you spend all this time, all this money to try and get some particular item or a piece that has a memory or something attached to it that you want to commemorate it and display it. And now that we're licensed by Major League Baseball, we have all 30 MLB teams. So we're pumping on all cylinders right now, just helping people build their brand, um, build a community, but also display everything that they really enjoy and really love. So,
I think it's crazy because it's like people didn't know they needed this until they needed it. Do you know what I mean?
yes.
It's like now if you see a big hit, that card is undoubtedly on a stand. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
especially if it's pulled by a breaker. But like even if it's like someone's household, like it's on a stand. It's
Yeah.
like no
And
longer are we like laying cards down in order to display them, right? There's
right. And for social media too, as well. I know a lot of people use it to post photos of cards that they picked up at shows or cards that they've bought in the past that they've moved on. And it's really cool to see like, oh, it's their brand. Our goal when Dan created this was that it was going to be the brand on the front the whole entire time. Like the one that we have for our personal brand, if you're watching video, has our logo on the front with just a white background. Very simple. But again, every time I post a card that we pick up, it's probably going to be on that stand unless I'm showcasing like 50 or 20 of them that we picked up at a show. I'll quickly roll through them.
yeah.
But again, it's brand awareness, getting your name out there, but also just enjoying that piece that you worked so hard to get. Why not put it on display in your house on a shelf on a at your desk and look at it and enjoy it and then take it to a show later on. So
And so you just mentioned that you guys are licensed by MLB now.
yes, yeah, we got our license last summer, and our first launch of 30 MLB team stands came out in November, right before the World Series. So, if you're interested in buying, you can go to standupdisplays.co. We have all 30 MLB teams. We're also carrying them in 3 major league ballparks right now, which is really exciting. And we're trying to expand and move into hobby shops. We're in a lot of big regional hobby shops. So, if you're interested in that, reach out to us. We'd be glad to have you. We as part of our team and one of our many shops that carry our products. But again, a lot of it is just we want to get it to the collector because it's all about what do you want to do after you get the card? Do you want it sitting in a box to be able to look at every 5 years, or do you want to be able to admire it and showcase it? And when your family comes over, tell them more about the hobby, tell them more about the experiences you've been through, all those kind of things.
If you were to look back on your collecting journey, you know, would you have you start collecting with your husband? I mean, could you have imagined that this is like what your life would be like? This is your full-time job, correct?
Oh yeah, I could not imagine this. Like, oh, when we started collecting, it was about 2.5 years ago. We've always collected in different ways. It's so weird because we've collected separately and apart. Because like I grew up collecting pins and different little knick-knacky things. He's a coin collector. He collects. When once a collector,
I'm
always a
gonna
collector is
I'm
what
gonna
I like to
stop you
say.
right now. I'm gonna stop you right now.
Oh no.
I need to know more about the stuff, the random stuff you collect, because I have this running thing where everybody collects something, and it's not just
Hmm.
cards. It's like, I mean, I was talking to Kayla, and Kayla's talking about a rubber ducky collection. Like,
Yep.
I know plenty of people that collect shoes, and so
Yep.
you said pins. What kind of pins are we talking
Yes.
about here?
So I enjoyed like when we went to Disney when we were very little, we collected Disney pins. But then again, I was a music kid growing up, so I was in the marching band and all those kind of things. So they had buttons and pins that they would have. So I would collect those at shows and events. And then my husband loves hats, absolutely loves hats. He wears them all the time. So we've been collecting a bunch of like hobby branded hats and like Phillies hats and if you ever see our office, you can't see it in this video. Our whole entire upper echelon of our office is filled with hats, which is really cool. So, and he collects coins. So, and again, and then we also collect the Philly stuff. So, Phillies memorabilia, Phillies items, like things that have meaning to us, kind of thing. So, that's kind of our like outside of hobbyist collecting collections, which is pretty cool. So,
I love that. I collect hats too. I collect hats and jerseys.
wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's something that I didn't even realize I was doing growing up. And then I moved into this place and I realized, especially when I started like really get into the hobby, I was
Hmm.
like, man, I miss my old hats. And I was like, I was devastated because I had some crazy hats. But and they were probably like, I remember buying them for so cheap, and then like vintage stuff starts going up and you're like, man, this is, if only I still had that hat. Um,
Yeah.
and so I was like, I'm never gonna let go of these hats again. So we've just been stockpiling hats from that point forward.
But it's kind of cool because like some of them have memories too. So we started collecting hats that like when we go to a baseball stadium, he gets a hat, I get a pin to commemorate that experience. And then also buy a box of cards because when you're at a baseball stadium, why not? Like those kind of little things that we do,
Yeah.
it's like quirky things. But like now all of these things are kind of tied to memories that we can share with our kids when we pass them down one day and like eventually like long down the road, like hopefully we'll have kids and grandkids that we'll share that with. But again, it's really cool to have those things and share those experiences with other people. And I love hearing again, like you said, what other people collect on top of what you collect outside of cards. It's really unique. It kind of shows their personality in a way.
I couldn't agree more. Talk to me about Hobby News Daily. Do you like writing? Is that some, how did you transition? Like what were you doing before this?
So before this, before all of this hobby craziness, I was actually working in sales and marketing and television. So it was kind of like a weird transition because I was looking for a change. There were some changes going on in the company and I needed a refresh. And we had started in the hobby. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and apply for this job. And it was again sales and marketing, but just in a completely different industry. And it has been a godsend for sure. Like it is amazing how warm and welcoming this industry has been. And then about 6 months into the job at Stand Up Displays, they reached out and said, hey, a friend of yours said that you'd be interested in, you might be a good writer. And like, I didn't have very much experience with writing, but I'm really passionate about certain things. And I want to tell people about our experience as a couple, but also my hobby experience as a female in this industry and as a business professional in this industry. And I think it's always good to get multiple perspectives on everything. So, and I love the team. They're so great and everybody puts out so many amazing articles every day. There's a new article that comes out from the team and it's just unique to see everybody's point of view or perspective or what they're interested in and what's going on. And it's been a lot of fun to be a part of. So, nothing I never expected to do, but it's a lot of fun. So,
I mean, it's a massive transition for you, and I'm glad that
oh,
it's
huge.
it's translated into a lot of positives.
Yes, a lot. And it's been a lot for our relationship because I'm home. I could take care of things around the house, and like my husband works, he works in the medical industry. So it's kind of tough for him sometimes. But again, then we come back to the hobby where we have something that we can do together and that we enjoy, and we go to shows together and do things together. But then again, we have our own individual collecting niches too, which is really cool because not just we have our collection, I say, of Philly stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like then there's the individual collections. What does he collect compared to what do I collect? And that's really fun to kind of dive into. And hopefully in some like future articles and stuff like that, I can talk about that. But it's been a really nice transition that I didn't know I needed for sure.
It's awesome. Talk to me about being a female in the space.
It's been I feel no different than anybody else. Like it's like the dudes treat me like I'm another dude is what I like to say. Like I love being part of the space and everybody has been so warm and welcoming. Like I probably have only had one experience where it was like a little weird, but like again, I'm always with Joey, so it's always a very nice experience. They treat us very well. Again, I don't think a lot of people do this together. And I think that's what we want to kind of change is like it's okay to do stuff together as a family or as a couple, like,
Yeah.
and it's okay to have your own thing too. So I've felt nothing but good and wonderful things from all of the people I've worked with professionally and personally, like just outside of the business side of things. And I've been super lucky and super blessed, and it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it, especially with now that that space is kind of growing,
Yep.
having other people to kind of like lean on in a way. If I ever wanted to, you know, get away from all the dudes hanging out, I can go hang out with the other gals and what's
Yeah.
going on. But again, it's been nothing but good things. So
I love that. The Nationals coming up, Fanatics Fest is coming up. What are you and I guess the companies you work for doing to prepare for it?
yeah, so we are very busy, just kind of connecting with business leaders, getting them all of the items, promotional items. I know a lot of people have really cool displays as part of their setup. So our goal is to kind of elevate that display. How can we do that by giving you a stand that has your business information on it, or contact information on it, or your logos, just to kind of elevate your space. But also we have really cool smaller promotional items like our top loader and our PSA stands we can customize too, which are really nice. Those are great for giveaways because when you're at a show, especially like the national where you might only pick up or see something, like everyone says at the national and you never know what you're going to see, and like things only come up like once in a lifetime or once a year there. So why not give them a stand that they can commemorate it on and say, oh, I got this at the say PWCC stand or the Fanatics table, like they had cards that I ripped, or the Tops booth or something like that, and I have something to commemorate it with. So we're preparing that way. We're going to have some small displays set up with some groups in the area. Otherwise, my goal is just to talk to people, network, um, make some business connections, but also have fun because that's what it's all about. In the end, it's a hobby, it's something we all enjoy and we all turn back to. So I think my goal is I don't know what I'm going to pick up or what I'm looking for yet, but hopefully find something to take home to remember it with.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like that's right up your alley. It sounds like you're gonna do it
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. So, and I know like a bunch of our friends are planning to be there, and like it's going to be nice to just reconnect with everybody, make some content too because we're not like always on top of the content side of things, but again, the collaboration piece I think is really fun to collaborate with friends and just showcase what you're doing at the national and just have a good time. Like that's the biggest thing. You want to make good business connections but also enjoy yourself.
It's gonna be a blast, I'm sure. It's not very far
Yes.
from you guys either, is it?
Yeah, it's about 5 hours. I think we're driving out to, I think like Tuesday. I think we're getting together with some friends to go to the Guardians game that night, and then we'll probably be there till Sunday. So it's gonna be a long week. It's gonna be a long week. Joey takes the whole entire week off from work. I pretty much work the whole week, but we did it for the first time as a couple and with stand up displays last year, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little overwhelming for me because again, it was my first time there as a business professional and on the side of things, but I think it's so fun. It's a great opportunity, especially after the show. like all the trade nights, all of the events that go on. If it's whoever's hosting it, it doesn't matter. It's always so much fun. You never know who you're going to meet when you go there. So
Yeah, for those who are listening and haven't been to a national, it is as fun as it is very overwhelming. It is
very,
it's
very overwhelming.
it's
So
very overwhelming.
if you are planning to go to the national, the advice I've heard, and I 100% agree, is go to like a regional show, like a Philly show or a Chantilly that's a little bit bigger than your normal local card show, so you can get that big feel experience, and then get ready for the national, because it's, even though if you were in Chicago last year, it's going to be a little bit smaller, but it's still going to be overwhelming with how many people. You never know who you're going to bump into. You feel like you've seen all the tables, but then you get to the end of the week and you realize you haven't, because
Yeah.
you've spent so much time talking, networking. Oh, I went to this table twice because I wasn't sure if I was going to buy this card, like those kind of things that happen. So it's pretty crazy that week.
Yeah, you know what? Also, like, I'll say if you find something you really like, buy it. Like, and
Oh,
it's within your
yes.
budget, buy it. Because there were a few times while I was at the national where I saw something that I liked, and I was like, okay, that's really cool. Like, I'll double back on this later, and it was gone.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
just the turnover in inventory at the national is bonkers.
Oh,
And
it's crazy.
I can't guarantee that if you see something, you're gonna see it again.
No, yeah, and we try and be careful as to how much we buy when we go there, because we want to be able to come back with stuff like Philly stuff that we enjoy in life, but we also
Mhm.
want to pick up a few cool things. And it just happened to be Joey ran into this one random Otani card, and he like 1 minute it's there and the next minute it's gone. You just never know what's going to be there and when it's going to be there. So like make a wish list of things that you're looking for, and then if you find it, great. If you don't, you never know. Like you never know until you get there, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty spot on if you ask me. I want you to leave people with a lasting impression. First of all, I'm going to give you the floor to just absolutely plug whatever you like. But if you could leave the listeners with like one closing thought, what would that be?
Oh man. I
Kind of
guess it
put
would
you on the
be,
spot.
I know that's a tough one, because there's so many things you could say like about it, but I think the biggest thing is just be a good person and enjoy the space. Like there is a lot of negativity in life and different things that are going on, but enjoy it with your friends, enjoy it with your family, enjoy it with your significant other. If you don't do it already, like do that, because it's, you can have memories that'll last a lifetime. We look back on even the last 2 years that we've been a part of this industry, just like as hobbyists, and realize, wow, we have a lot of really cool things that we never thought we'd ever get to do. We never thought we'd go to Chicago. We never thought we would be at working for a booth. You never know until you take the leap and you do it, and do it with the people you love, and just be good to people. I think that's the biggest thing, kind of life advice I have to say for hobbyists. So,
I
and
love
hobby
that.
fam.
I love that. Plug away now. Where can people
All
follow
right.
you? Where can people, get stand-up displays? Where can people read your articles? Go, go, go.
Yes. Okay. Well, so if you want to follow us, Sports Card Couple, Instagram, TikTok, you name the platform, we're there. My goal is to just showcase what it's like to be a couple in the hobby. Though you'll see a lot of me, you'll see a lot of what we're doing, where we're going. Reach out to us. We're always looking to connect, always looking to collab, always looking to grow. If you're looking to read my articles, there's a link in my bio there, or you can go to Hobby News Daily, and all of my articles are under there. There's also some other amazing articles that everybody puts out. So my next article is coming out, I guess, from this recording next week. But again, I'll have it on our Instagram, available for you to read. And then for stand-up displays, standupdisplays.co, or you could send me a message on Instagram, and I'll get you hooked up and let you know where to order everything and how to get the custom designs. I do the custom designs for all of my clients. So all I need is a logo, and I can hook you up and get you ready in time for we got more than enough time to get in time for the national. So if you need anything for the national, or you need any promo items, we're cranking out now and we're getting ready. So it's going to be a fun time. Otherwise, I will see you all in Cleveland.
There you go. You heard it. Stand-up displays, Hobby News Daily, Sports Card Couple. If you guys aren't following those three, you should. There's a lot of good information and I mean, even better people behind these projects. So, Caitlin, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the show today. Team, I hope you
It
enjoyed
was
this week's
great.
episode. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say thank you so much. It was awesome.
Of course. I appreciate having you. Team, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Cardboard Coach. Like I said, if you haven't followed all three of those, please go do so now. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Coach Co and Caitlin, we're out of here. Peace.